What is happening as the New York Rangers are reportedly in on and trading for a young budding superstar in the league, and this has major implications on the team moving forward as the package and the return includes one of the Rangers' best young players. We're going to break it all down in this episode of Rangers Digest, but before we do that, a quick reminder to hit that subscribe button. About 68% of you who watch these videos are not subscribed to the channel. So if you want to stay up to date with everything that's going on with the New York Rangers, from trade rumors to trade reports to practice updates, post-game reactions, all that fun stuff, it's free. So be sure to hit that subscribe button. Now, we got a major report just now from Frank Seravalli. We also have conflicting reports we'll get into, but for the most part, there are a ton of reporters and insiders commenting on this, saying that this is most likely to happen. This is from Frank Seravalli. Keep an eye on the New York Rangers on Friday. Sources indicate the Rangers have had advanced discussions with the Buffalo Sabres on forward JJ Peterka, who is a young budding superstar in this league. I say superstar, but he's a young budding player in this league. He's going to be a real good player in this league. And I mean, he's still relatively young. We'll get into his contract, his stats, all of that in a second. But this is crazy for the New York Rangers. Let's see where this goes. Now, you see it come from Frank Seravalli. You can say what you want about his track record, all of that stuff. This is coming from multiple sources. This is from Renaud Lavoie as well. JJ Peterka and the New York Rangers could be a thing soon. This just dropped minutes ago at the point that I'm making this video. The New York Rangers are among the teams trying to acquire JJ Peterka from the Sabres. This is from Lance as well. Rangers assistant coach Michael Pekka worked closely with Peterka during his time together in Rochester. And JJ Peterka has matched the career high 50 points that he produced with the Sabres last season. So he's continuing to get better. He's still a very young player too. He's a great young player in this league. He really is. And there are still 21 games remaining. He has 19 goals. And, he's putting up some of the best stats he ever has through his 3 NHL seasons. So this would be a crazy get. Now, I saw this and I was like, the first thing that came to my mind is, what is the return? Because JJ Peterka for the Rangers would be a great get. He's a great young player in the league. And for the Sabres, probably a bit of a centerpiece in their future plans. But obviously it looks like they're headed for another rebuild again and wouldn't mind moving off of him. But I don't believe that the Sabres want a first-round pick or a second-round pick or something like that for him. They probably want something that's going to, help them immediately, because they can't keep selling off and rebuilding every 2 years. So that's exactly where my mind went, and that's exactly where Johnny Lazarus's mind went as well. And my guess is that Buffalo would be targeting Braden Schneider as part of this. Now, Braden Schneider, if he went back the other way, that is heartbreaking. I mean, I know you just added Carson Soucy. He's not a guy that you're looking towards the future with, right? Obviously, you have a year left on his deal still. He's 30 years old. Braden Schneider is a really good right-handed young defenseman in the league. I would not trade him. So who else would you trade? A lot of people are speculating a couple things. And, a lot of people are saying that maybe it's Lafreniere. Maybe it's Will Cooley. I wouldn't trade Will Cooley. Lafreniere has been a bit disappointing since signing his contract extension. This is from Anthony LaRocco on the New York Rangers' pursuit of JJ Peterka. The Sabres have the longest playoff drought in all of pro sports. They have been in a rebuild for forever at this point, right? Like, they've been rebuilding since 2011 at this point. They aren't going to want picks or prospects. They're likely going to need one of Lafreniere or Cooley in the deal to move him. So my question to the viewers now is, would you move Cooley or Lafreniere? I'm leaning, honestly, Lafreniere at this point. He's been extremely disappointing since signing his contract extension. And for his entire NHL career, besides half of last season and last playoffs, he's been extremely disappointing. That is the fact of the matter, and he's showing it again. He's been disappointing. Cooley looks like he's going to be a physical force and a great player in this league. He's done nothing but improve every season, and he's having a career year again this year. So Peterka is 23 years old, coming off of a 28-goal, 50-point season last year, and he has 50 points. This is not updated in 58 games so far this season. So have to give to get in this league, and that's exactly the sentiment. So I think I would be more open at this point. Hindsight's 2020. If we watch this video back in a year, we might be like, what are we talking about? But, at this point in time, maybe it's Lafreniere. Maybe it is Lafreniere, because I really, really like Cooley. And, I mean, there is some bias there. I have his jersey over my left shoulder on the wall, so there is a little bit of bias there for sure. But again, Braden Schneider, the fact that you wouldn't trade Braden Schneider for JT Miller and Braden Schneider could be included in this deal makes no sense to me. I don't think they're trading Braden Schneider. I think that he is a centerpiece of this defense core for the future moving forward. So some interesting stats, revolving around JJ Peterka and why I think this would be a great trade for the New York Rangers. Players with more even strength points than JJ Peterka in the last 44 days in the NHL. David Pastrnak, that's it. It's David Pastrnak and JJ Peterka in terms of 5-on-5 points. The Rangers could use some more 5-on-5 scoring. I mean, they had a line earlier this season that they completely disbanded via trade. That was pretty good 5-on-5, and they need to get back to that a little bit. This is a player who shines 5-on-5, and especially recently, and I think that's something that the Rangers could desperately use. And again, this is not from just a couple reporters or one insider or just Frank Saravalli. This is from a couple hours ago when the Rangers weren't even included in these trade talks. And this is Emily Kaplan of ESPN. She says to keep an eye on JJ Peterka. If the Sabres are going to make a move tomorrow, it's going to be JJ Peterka. So very interesting stuff that the Rangers are completely retooling on the fly here this season. I mean, I have to give credit to Chris Drury. I've been critical of him on this channel. I see all your comments. People since the start of the season have not liked the job that Chris Drury does. I have to be honest, he's done some pretty good asset management this season considering what's happened on the ice this season. Now, to move forward as well, and talking of 5-on-5 play, I'm not for trading JJ Peterka. This is obviously from a Sabres fan, so keep that in mind. But he leads the NHL in 5-on-5 on ice shooting percentage as well. So there's a decent amount of puck luck in his numbers. His value right now is close to its peak. Would be crazy to not listen to offers on him. So obviously we have to keep this in mind too. His value is at an all-time high. He continues to put up career numbers, right? And he's having another career year, but he's a really good 5-on-5 player. And right now on the Buffalo Sabres, he's actually playing on their top line left wing. I mean, that doesn't say much. The Buffalo Sabres are not a great team. And I famously said on this channel, if you're not the New York Islanders or the Buffalo Sabres, you're still in the playoff mix, right? So, and even to this day, I still believe that. But, the Buffalo Sabres are not a great team, but he is playing on their top line. There is something to be said about that, at least, that, he is a good player, especially 5-on-5. And if you take a look at his stats so far this season, we'll take a look at his contract as well. 58 games so far this season, 49 points. Again, not updated. I believe he does have 50 points now. And he's almost a point a game player as a 23-year-old. He just turned 23. He is only going to get better as he ages as well. He's playing a ton of ice time for his age too. Of course, it has to do with the team that he's on, but he would really make a difference on this Rangers team. And for almost no cost at all this season, at least. He's still on his ELC, it seems, at $8.55, and he's an RFA as well, so there's team control on his contract still as well. And if you take a look at the Rangers lineup, I mean, maybe third line left wing. I would even put him maybe second line with Miller up there, maybe with Zibanejad. That would be fun. Then you have that energy of Cooley on the third line there, and I love Cooley, and I think he's deserved this promotion to the second line. But I think if you were to get, a JJ Peterka, that's pretty interesting there. And I wonder if Peterka could even play the right wing. Then you're really, mixing around with things. So could get very interesting. I think Peterka definitely makes this team better. He's 23 years old, so you're going to have him for the foreseeable future. And he's only going to get better. So I think that, on paper, everything we've heard so far, this is a great move. And again, the Rangers are interested in the Buffalo Sabres 23-year-old JJ Peterka. Would be a great grab for Chris Drury and the Rangers. And Alexis Lafreniere is a popular name amongst the Buffalo fans. Maybe a swap of the two forwards. So at this point in time, honestly, I would move off of Alexis Lafreniere in a trade for JJ Peterka because I think their production is honestly very similar, at least this season. And for Alexis Lafreniere's entire career, up until half of last season and last year's playoffs, it's been a bit disappointing. Ever since he signed that contract extension, it has been disappointing. So I would be open to that trade. I think Peterka would be a really, really good grab for the New York Rangers. But I'm interested to hear what you have to say in the comments. Let me know in the comments what you think of JJ Peterka potentially coming to the New York Rangers as early as tomorrow morning. It sounds like they're going to circle back on it in the morning. Some of the GMs, I guess, are ready for bed at this point, but it should be a very interesting trade deadline. And like I said in previous videos, it does not sound like Chris Drury is done yet. It sounds like he has one more trick up his sleeve. We will see what happens tomorrow, but We want to hear what you have to say in the comments about that. And if you haven't yet, hit that subscribe button so you can stay up to date with everything New York Rangers.